Hello listeners of Illusion. This special episode of Temporal Discussion was recorded on a recent trip to Birmingham to the Square Eyes TV Festival to see a screening of Knightmare and a Q&A with Hugo Myatt at the Mockingbird Cinema. The episode we saw was the last episode of Series 7, which consisted of Team 7, Dungeoneer Barry and his advisors Simon, Derek and Daniel from Worcestershire. Unfortunately, we couldn't record in the actual cinema itself due to not having permission and not having the correct equipment. Furthermore, all these audio clips were recorded on a mobile phone and mostly in a busy cafe, so there is going to be some background noise. Thank you very much, enjoy the episode. Welcome listeners of Illusion to Temporal Discussion, the episode by episode Knightmare Retrospective podcast. I'm Martin Harder, cold, wet, waiting for a bus, and I got up at 5:20am today so I could get all the way from Aldershot to Birmingham to attend the Square Eyes TV Festival, where I will be going to a screening of Knightmare in the cinema with a Q&A with none other than Hugo Myatt himself. So it's currently 6:10. My bus gets into Birmingham at 11:30. I'm only now just realising I forgot to pack my headphones. So that's going to be fun.
Dizzy, I'm so dizzy, this disc is spinning like a whirlpool, it never ends. Is it Hugo making a spin? I'm on the spin, dizzy.
So I've just changed buses at Victoria Coach Station, and believe me, if you think the sewers of Gough are bad, then nothing compared to the toilets at Victoria Coach Station. So Birmingham, here we come.
When I finished level 1, I knew I had to climb into the well. I didn't know how deep it was, but then I got in town, I fell. Really seemed like quite a risk, but now I'm on a spinning disc. I'm going around in circles at this time. Dizzy.
Okay, so I'm with a Knightmare fan and YouTuber, creepypasta connoisseur, voice actor, artist, fan fiction author, and just generally nice person, Amy Davies.
Yeah, my resume can be found online, the very long list.
And we're sitting in, what's this place called? I forgot.
Chance Encounters.
Chance Encounters, nice little board game cafe. And just met Hugo Myatt.
Yeah, bucket list.
I don't think you recognised me at all.
Well, hey, we've got another couple hours.
That's true.
It's very surreal. I did not think this was going to be a day that ever happened.
He smokes a pipe. He was sat outside smoking a pipe, and I did not know he smoked a pipe. And then I saw him smoking a pipe. Right, of course he smokes a pipe.
Just get him an armchair. We are waiting for this show to start in about an hour. Mm-hmm. I don't want to speak for you, but I guess I'm very excited.
Oh yes. I'm intrigued of what it's going to be, because from what I gather, it's not going to be like an episode of Knightmare. No. It's going to be like the best of.
Yeah.
So I imagine probably Simon Sidestep, right?
Oh yeah.
Probably
33 years now?
Oh yeah, I know. 33 years a couple of days ago, wasn't it? Of the time of recording. So I think that, and probably some winners. We'll probably get Jason Carl and definitely Dickon, I reckon.
Oh yeah. Maybe Barry is a little extra.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll do. I don't really know
what to do when you put two introverts together.
I don't even know if it'll pick up any of this because there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna have to do it ASMR. Hello, welcome to Knightmare.
Just gonna stroke some paper.
Listen, this is the helmet going over your head. Clink. Oh my lord. I need a script for this. Alright, I'm going to interview you.
Okay.
When did you first discover Knightmare?
So I definitely have memories of it in its early years. My first full memory of it was Stuart Leveland's team, which would have been 88. Stuart with his trousers, as regular listeners know. Did you hear the story about Stuart's trousers, by the way?
No.
He wasn't allowed to wear his own trousers. Because they did a test with the blue screen and all that.
Oh, right.
And they came up.
And
then it said it was all fine. And when he got there on the day, he was wearing the same trousers. And they had problems, obviously. They had to wear someone else's trousers. Bless him.
Oh, bless.
And there's that bit when he meets Lilith for the first time. And everyone's expecting her to be up on the... up on a ledge or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, she sneaks up behind him. And she basically started shouting at him from behind, and he shat himself.
Oh, bless him.
Probably not literally, but
Give him a right startle.
Yeah, Stuart, you know we love it. He's my Facebook friend now,
Oh, really?
Stuart Leveland, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, for me, I must have been about 7 or 8 years old, and it was the rerun of Challenge.
Yeah, because, yes, we were talking about that the other day, because a lot of people complain about the Challenge repeats because they put ads in weird places and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
if it weren't for the Challenge repeats, people like you, people like...
Post-80s.
yeah, people like you, people like Twill, who's one of our listeners. Hi, Twill. They wouldn't have discovered it at all.
Yeah. So I remember I was about 8 or 9, and it was I believe it was a series 2 episode, or might have been series 1, and it started with Folly giving a riddle, where I think the whole stick of it is the team was supposed to go right. They didn't. They went left and went straight into a bomb.
Oh.
So that was my very
yes,
first
I remember that one.
Yeah. But I do remember little things like, I remember like 2 teams winning, I think. It's very selective. Key things I remember is like when Pickle appeared like out of nowhere one day, when Vegeta appeared out of nowhere one day. And obviously you're an 8-year-old, you're like, wait, who's this? What's going on?
Yeah.
I finally got to level 2 and I stood and wondered what would be my fate. Would somebody rescue me or was I doomed forever to rotate? Just you got control of me cause I'm so dizzy and can't see I need to call my teammates for some help. Dizzy!
I'm going to ask you a few riddles.
Okay.
These are Knightmare riddles, so this is probably going to be more of a memory test
Oh, okay. Go
than
for
anything
it.
else for you. A knight-errant will often follow a maid, but name me the maid who follows knights.
A knight errant.
A knight-errant will often follow a maid, but name me the maid who follows knights.
I have no idea. A knight errant will often follow a maid. No.
What follows knight?
Oh, sugar. I'm trying to think.
Are you a horror film fan?
No.
I was going to say, if you are, think of the Living Dead films.
Oh God, never watched them. I was like a zombie or something. What is it?
So the answer is Dawn.
Oh, never guessed that.
I don't think you're going to get this one.
Nice.
Okay, I don't think you're going to get this one, but we'll give it a go. Though fairy not, but very grand, a queen of England's fair great land is dubbed by some the fairy queen. But tell me, which queen do they mean?
Oh, I do remember this. I don't remember the answer. So just read it again.
Once and once only.
Okay.
Through though fairy not, but very grand, a queen of England's fair great land is dubbed by some the fairy queen. But tell me, which queen do they mean?
Now is this like one of our queens or like a mythical queen?
An actual queen.
Elizabeth? If it's Victorian.
Well done.
Yay! Because it wouldn't have been second.
This one is my personal favourite.
Yeah.
Where falls the blow that harms you not, yet ends the state of common man?
Death. It's not death, is it?
Shall I read it again?
Yes.
Where falls the blow that harms you not, yet ends the state of common man?
That ends you not, but ends the state of common man.
Harms you not.
So
Ends the state of common
I
man.
was about to say puberty. Age?
The shoulder.
What?
The sword dub of knighthood.
Oh. Okay.
Which is deeper, the ocean or a saucer of water?
What kind of a question is that?
Do you really call yourself a nightmare?
No, I do not remember any of these. An ocean or a saucer of water? Which is deeper? Deep is just the question, because that's deep, man. Well, I guess the ocean? What?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were thinking about it too hard.
Yeah.
So.
I was thinking that when this trick word does.
Here's an easy one for you. What is the bird that is born when it burns?
What is the what?
What is the bird that is born when it burns?
Phoenix.
Yes. Well done, you got 2.
Incredible. I'm a genius. Okay, so obviously, like, you were watching it as a kid. When
Yeah.
did you discover, like, the fandom itself, like, the community?
Not until I was in college. So around 99, 2000 was when I kind of really stumbled upon Knightmare.com.
Yeah.
Or I think it was nightmare.clara.net at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was when I first knew that there was this great love for this show that I remembered as a child, because as far as I knew, it was just me and my friends who remembered it. I can't remember how I discovered it. I think I was just, I wonder if anyone else remembers this show.
Yeah.
So I stumbled upon Knightmare.com and found all like the real player clips and everything. I actually crashed my my college's entire system, because real player is shit, basically.
Okay.
Real player, it was spyware, really.
Alright.
But it's all we had at the time.
Yeah.
I remember trying to watch clips on these like little thumbnail size.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
It wasn't even 360p. It was like a potato. I wasn't into like forums or anything like that,
No.
so I didn't really join the forum until much later.
I think for me, like I said, I watched the show when I was like 7, 8, and then just stopped one day. I would have been 12 years old, and I literally just remembered it all of a sudden. So I was like, I wonder if it's around. So I went on Google to just Google the name. Bear in mind, the only character I remember, like name-wise, was Pickle. That's the only name I remembered. So I Googled it and I found the Wikipedia page, and then I found I don't think full episodes were up yet, but there were clips of episodes.
Yeah.
So I watched Mark's Winning Quest, which was the very first Winning Quest, and then I just kept finding clip after clip. So I found little pieces basically, and then eventually I discovered the forum, but I couldn't apply because I was 12, and at the time, like I said before, you had to fax your information in to prove your age.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what shit? So then I just waited, because it was 2 months until my 13th birthday. It turned, I joined, history.
I'm so dizzy, this disc is spinning like a whirlpool that never ends. Is it you go making a spin?
Right, so we're in the cinema. Obviously, we're not going to record anything during the actual show, because that just wouldn't be fair. There's a lot of people here. It's sold out.
Sorry, guys, just if you want to relax.
That's all right.
That's why I'm braced over.
And as you can probably tell, we're sat right in the middle of the row of everyone having to get past us. Right, so we just came out of the screening. What did you think, Amy?
Well, he was just so warmer than I expected him to be.
Yeah.
Like, he's very humble. Like you were saying before, I think he's still kind of shocked that we're all, like, still involved in this, but he was playing with the crowd. He was like, welcome, watchers.
But also very grateful that we're still involved in it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So we thought it was going to be like a best of screening, but it was actually it was Barry's final episode, which, let's face it, is pretty much the same thing as best of.
Yeah, the classic.
Because it's such a fun quest, and
that
Barry's
audience,
a great engineer.
Yeah, that audience, like, everyone was laughing, everyone was getting really tense, especially with the water drop scene. Everyone was screaming. It was really good.
Yeah, it was like being at the Rocky Horror Picture Show, wasn't it? And I've never really experienced that before, because I've never watched Knightmare with an audience like that.
Absolutely. I think, so we did the Q&A, and I think, so one of the questions I wanted to ask, and someone did kind of get onto it as well, was what it was like to work with the advisors as opposed to just on your own.
Just going to drop in here real quick. Amy clearly meant to say assistants rather than advisors, but because it was obvious what she meant, I didn't correct her.
And I was surprised when I heard, like, oh yeah, well, we tried it, but it didn't really work. What do you think? Do you think it worked best with him by himself or with an advisor?
I think it depends, really.
I think
as the series went on and it became more plot driven, yes, you really needed an assistant there.
Yes.
And I know this is going to be a controversial opinion. I quite like Majida.
Really?
I don't mind Pickle. Certainly, I don't hate him as much as Martin O seems to.
Okay.
But Majida, I find Jackie Suarez kind of bounces off him better.
Okay, for me, this is really weird. I think as an adult, I appreciate Trigon more by himself. Like, he's very intense, and it's kind of like that dark edge to him that I really liked. But as a child, I loved Pickle, because I think he was kind of like that lighter side that a kid could really, like, connect with and get into. And then Mashida is just that girl power that any girl would like.
Yes.
I did prefer Pickle, though.
Well, I've kind of got to like Pickle because, David Lerner and the Hitchhiker's connection, so big Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, so yeah. So that was it. Yeah, there were some lovely people there. I'm hoping some of them are listening to this podcast right now.
Hi.
It was just such a genuinely nice atmosphere.
Yeah, and the guy doing the interview as well, you could tell he was quite excited.
Yeah.
But the questions he asked, and like he would bounce off of other people's questions and like ask Hugo to like expand on them.
Yeah.
So it was really good, just like hearing this. Like, so he was one of the ones he was telling a story about an advisor who got a black eye because the team fell out.
Yes, we finally got confirmation of that. We've theorised about that for a while now, and it's finally been confirmed by Hugo. It happened. We still don't know what team it was, but we know that it happened. So, yeah, I got to ask my question. As most of you know, when we interviewed him on the podcast, he played a prank on us by pretending he was about to say something really important and then pretending that the Zoom call just cut out. So I asked him if he got to play pranks like that on set, because he was very professional on set, didn't do anything like that, because he couldn't. It was filmed as live, so you had to kind of keep going, so to speak. So yeah, we got our signed photos. We got photos on our phones with him.
Yeah, he was complaining about how thick the pen was because I mean, I can read what he said, but he's right, the pen is a bit thick.
Yeah.
But no, he was lovely. His wife as well, I think. She was so friendly.
Yes, she remembered me. Yeah. A great time was had by all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me come with you.
That's quite all right. And sorry, so what's your name?
My name's Will. Hi.
Hi, Will. I'm Martin. This is Amy, and this is what's the name of this place again? Sorry.
Chance and Counters.
Chance and Counters Board Game Cafe.
You've got to make it a pun, haven't you?
Yeah. So, we love the fact we were in here earlier and Hugo Myatt just kind of walked past all these people playing Dungeons and Dragons. Half of them had no idea who he was.
Absolutely.
Like, my generation, he's the reason most of us play Dungeons and Dragons.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been a Dungeons and Dragons. I wouldn't be a dungeon master if it wasn't for Knightmare.
No. Do you have a favourite Knightmare memory?
It's tricky. It's so long ago now. But I do remember there were some people who went to my school. They weren't in my year, they were in it, and everyone was absolutely crazy for it. When you get one person in the school, suddenly everyone wants to talk about Knightmare. And I do remember they didn't do so well, but yeah, I certainly remember the hype when it was at school. I think I wouldn't be where I am today, working in a board game cafe, if it wasn't for Knightmare in the first place. I mean, I wouldn't have got to Dungeons and Dragons, I wouldn't have then got so interested in board games. So that guy, Hugo, absolute legend. The amount of joy he's given out to the world, and then people like us who give that joy back as well. I mean, what better thing to do than make a world a better place?
Yes.
Absolutely. And he was such a nice bloke to talk to.
Yeah, a lovely bloke.
Absolutely. And that's you don't see that sometimes. You know, you meet someone and they're a little bit hoity-toity, but he was absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
Sat down in the corner, like you're saying, without anyone noticing he's there, and there's me nerding out.
And it's like he still seems so kind of almost bemused.
Absolutely.
This thing that he did 30-something years ago.
Still so beloved by so many. And they can still bring in a full house on a rainy Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. It speaks to him especially.
Yeah.
It's also show.
Yeah.
Absolute legends.
People come in from all over the country.
Nice to see people like you keeping Knightmare alive.
Thank you.
Yay! I better get back to work, so...
Alright, thank you very much.
You enjoy the rest of your stay in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Thank you too. Take it easy, guys.
If you've enjoyed the podcast, please give us a rating and a review on your platform of choice. It really helps us to grow our audience by reaching others who might be interested.
You can follow us on Twitter. We're at Knightmare Pod, all one word, no hyphen. And our Mastodon is topspicy.social/@NightmarePod.
If you want to support the podcast, we're Knightmare Pod on Patreon.
Speaking of Patreon, here's a shout out to keepers of the Book of Quests, David N. Rabbit, Paul McIntosh, Peter Pulsford and Scott Evans, advisors Benjamin Bloom, David Thompson and Peter Sidorn, and Dungeoneer Peter Courage.
Support us on Patreon at Dungeoneer level or above to get your name mentioned on the podcast. Higher level perks also receive merchandise, have access to exclusive episodes, and if you pledge as a keeper of the Book of Quests, we'll even offer you the chance to be a guest on the podcast.
Our website is, of course, nightmarepod.co.uk.
If you're looking for temporal discussion merchandise, and let's face it, who isn't, including t-shirts, stickers, and other products, it's at nightmarepod.redbubble.com.
You can email us at podcast@nightmarepod.co.uk.
And just keep telling yourself, it's only a podcast.
Isn't it?